Welcome to another gorgeous day and another day of Dose of Did You Know, where intriguing, inspiring, unique individuals come to talk love and life and how it brought them all the way to where they are today. And with me is the gorgeous, vibrant. I was like, shoot, I should have worn different colors. I'm feeling like, I thought it was like, so like, I wanted it to be summer, so I'll wear a summer dress. Okay. Anyways, this fancy pants, I wanted to like get to know you a little bit more, Miss Tera Lynne. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's a little cold outside for my taste, but we're keeping it warm in here, right?
That is how I roll. And right now I live in a hotel because we're building a house. And so we thought, well, let's just live in like a suite and it'll like be pampered a little bit. It's really not. I'm making it sound way fancier than it is. But it basically allows me to have my big dog. So I'm cool with it. So I'm like, 77 every day in the hotel room. Well, I'm like
in my tank top with my dog.
Yep. And I'm loving it. But before we really get going, tell the world a little bit about like who you are.
Sure. So my name is Tera Lynne Pfister. I am going to be 30 next month. I'm super excited about it. And I'm originally from outside of St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a artist here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm singer-songwriter. And I know your show is a lot about life and love and how you got to where you are. And I can say in my almost 30 years of living that the entire reason I'm alive and my being and what I do and why I'm in Nashville 5.5 hours away from my family is because of my love of music. I think that music is the end all be all. I think that art is the most important thing that human beings do. And my love for it really brought me here. So yeah. I try to do every day, do what I love. So one place that's really good for that is Nashville, Tennessee. It's not saying I'm rich and rolling in it yet, but I'm working on it, right?
Well, everything is a work in progress. And I love how you talked about that creative side, because I think we all have a creative side inside us. Some are better than others. Like, you don't want me to sing to you. Like, my children cried when they were babies and were like, just please, can you just read to us? You're so much better at that. I'm like, oh well, fine.
Pardon me.
But I have God gave me other gifts. And I think as we get older, right? So I'm 43, so I'm a bit older than you, but I feel like we forget to use those gifts because life happens and then you're busy and they go to the wayside. And then one day you wake up and you're like, why don't I do that? That gave me such joy. It was so like
fulfilling.
Yeah, like there's another word, like, but I know I'm not going to pronounce it right because I'll stumble on it. Like cathartic. It's what's that word I'm looking
for? Yeah, that could be it.
Whatever.
Not lethargic, not that.
No, it's cathartic, maybe. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But really, so like I started taking up drawing. Drawing is like my gift, so I restarted taking it. So I love when people like don't let their creative side, their passion go and just like drive into it like you did. So 5 years ago, what made you? I feel like that's a jump, right? You make a conscious jump in your mind to say like, I'm going to the next step with this.
Yes. And this is actually, I've been doing a lot of self-reflection this like past, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so, but heavily the last 3 months. And because you get that question a lot of people, even from back home or people here that are just like, oh my gosh, like I could never just pack up and move. And you're like, well, yeah, you could. Like you'd figure it out. If it came down to like what your heart was telling you to do, you would do it and you would be fine. For me, it was I just have to, honestly, there's just nothing else I've ever wanted to do. There's nothing else that I've ever inside of me gone like, this has to get out, So when I had just finished college and I was selling cars at a Ford dealership in St. Louis. Shout out Dave Sinclair Ford. And I had been coming down to Nashville just maybe once a month or so because something was calling me there. I didn't have a group of friends here. I didn't know people here, but I was coming down about once a month. I started getting into writers' rounds, just kind of like showing up. I kind of made like a small knit group of people that would let me come and sleep on their couch and, entertain me for the weekend. And then I just got offered a job a couple of years ago to sing in a band and on Broadway, and I was only 21. I just turned 21, and so I did. I kind of looked at my parents, who were both very, very supportive of whatever I was going to do, as long as I kept my head screwed on straight. And I just looked at them and I was like, I think I'm going to go. And I moved 2 weeks later with like 2 bags, a bag of shoes, and a guitar and a microphone.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
It's like on steroids when people are like, I'm so broke. And then their cell phone breaks and they come up with $600 to buy a new cell phone, right?
Yeah.
What you did is like that on steroids. Yes, of course you can. But do you really want it? And you really just...
I think it's the like, you hear actors say it too. It's like, you wouldn't be in this business if you didn't love it, just because it is it can be so brutal and so demoralizing, you know, and it, not that it's, even if, you know, if you find yourself in self-comparison, which is not something you should do, but sometimes you're human and you look at the person next to you and go, why is that not me? Like, you might even feel like you're doing more or you have more to offer, but this person is on a higher tier and you're like, what the hell? But you're human. I'm human, you know, it happens. But you've got to, I try my best to really keep my head around, I am me, this is what I offer, and no one can offer what I have to offer because I am me. You know?
It's hard. I think that is like a mantra that should be repeated because, right, we don't know their path and we don't know your path. And that's like where you get into that comparison. It's because it's like,
it's useless.
Someone just to tell me the path that God has for me, and then I will follow it and I will do it, and just, it's not the way it works. There's certain, like, I feel there are certain steps, and you don't even have to believe in God. It's like my faith. You can just believe in whatever. But I think that there are certain steps we have to take as individuals. So my steps are different than your steps. And within each step is a lesson that I must learn to get to that next level. It's kind of like a video game.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's, you really, we're on the same page as far as just, if it's what you're meant to do, you're going to do it. You know, and don't give up. I saw a great freaking meme the other day on, I guess it was Facebook, it had to be, or Instagram, but it was a cartoon of a girl, and, you know, just imagine on the right side of the meme was just like dirt and grass from top to the bottom of the photo, and this girl is basically like digging, and her prize is right there on the other side. So you see her dig this trench, and when she's like this far from breaking it, the meme shows her like walking away. And really, like, that just, it like imprinted on my soul. I was like, oh my God, I can't stop. How awful.
Yeah.
And that leads me, like, one of my favorite quotes is that the definition of hell is arriving and meeting the person you could have been.
Yeah.
Let that sink in.
Yeah. Oh, I was just, funny we're having this conversation. I was just writing today on my, like, my blog is like, we visualize constantly, right? Even if you don't think you're visualizing your future or who you are visualizing it. You're moving towards it. Some people are just more proactive in it. And when we get caught up in that visualization and don't allow it to like flow and tweak, we actually stop our own evolution. So you're on this visualization of the creative side of being an artist, of singing. And I think you have a release coming out, a new song coming out, and all of this stuff. And if you were so rigid, you would fail miserably. You have to allow to be like, okay, I'm going to take this path. It's all aligned in the base of who you are, of being this, you know, this creative side, this musician, this artist. But if you don't allow to like ebb and flow along that path, it's like you walk away. Walking away
and you're miserable. Yeah. That's like, I love, just like I got to go to the Grand Canyon a couple months ago. It was like on my bucket list, and with COVID and all that, just hopped in my car and went. And it was really cool doing like, we did just to know that all of that was created by water, like all of those pathways. And it really reminded me of just like you were saying, that ebb and flow. Like, you know, I really believe that like everything in us, including ourselves, like it's all energy, right? All of
Yeah.
us are energy. That's why you feel certain things around certain people. It's why you like certain animals and you don't like other animals, and you know, just all of it's energy. So I just think of, you know, that rock was not fighting the water. That ground was not fighting the water. Like the water shaped all of that over years and years and centuries and centuries. I'm like, you just gotta ebb and flow. You just have to let it happen. Like you have to
Basically,
keep your head screwed on straight. You have to have effort and try, but you've got to flow.
Yeah. All right. So I have to ask, because I love your hair. I could never pull it off, but I love your hair. So I have two questions. One, how the hell do you keep it so bright and vibrant?
I use it's like a stained shampoo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like a murder scene when I wash my hair, but yeah, it's just I get it bleached out. Like when my new growth comes in, I'll go to the sun and they'll bleach it out for me. But then I come home and I use like stain from Sally's. It's like $8. And then for the whatever month or so that I have it, I'll use my stain shampoo. And when I decide it's not the color I want, I'll redo it.
I love it. I love like that vibrantness, but I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like when people do it and then they get lazy and it like turns just dirty looking. I'm like, commit to yourself.
Yes.
There's got to be a secret out there because people do it. So commit.
Yes.
Now I know you need that colored shampoo.
The stain shampoo. It isn't. I tell, you know, I have a lot of people ask questions about my hair, and I always tell girls, I'm like, listen, it is so much fun, but one, it is a commitment, and two, you cannot have OCD. Like it's going to change to whatever color it changes to every time you wash it. And if that's going to bother you, don't do it. Don't. You'll be miserable.
So that's my beauty tip. I had to know. And then secondly, so you're in Nashville. I feel like it's a little ballsy to kind of look outside of the norm just in general. Like I have my own style. People like it. They don't like it. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. It's just like I wake up, I was feeling very soft and flowy. Again, regretting that now. I was like, should have gone more edgy, but that's not how I felt today. So that's not what you got.
No,
but did you find is there any kickback because you don't look like a normal country singer or like normal Nashville, or you have just such a love and a life and it comes out in you that it's not even an effect?
I probably be. Honestly, I've just always kind of told myself if someone wasn't okay with what I had going on, then we just weren't meant to be. You know, like if someone looks at me and says, you know, you should really do this, that, or the other thing, if it were like a management, or I will listen, you know, I will hear what they have to say and I might think about it. But in the long run, you know, my hair's been every color you can imagine since I was in high school, and I have tattoos and, but I feel like those are all things that are kind of coming around, you know, like especially if you're walking around, especially East Nashville. I don't live in East Nashville, but I visit there, and I'm not an oddity there so much. But if you do think of like CMT classic, like Carrie Underwood, yes, I'm very much not that. But I will surround myself with those who want to be surrounded by me.
I was wanting to know what your answer is. It's kind of exactly what I thought it was, that the confidence and love that you have within yourself, it really doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what that is, because you are exactly right. The people that are supposed to be in your life, that are supposed to be through the journey with you and come in and come out, they're the ones that see past it. And smart people, even though they know who they are, will listen when people give advice. That doesn't mean you take it, but you're supposed to listen, because knowledge is power, and other people's opinion, you need to, like, that gives you just more power of humanity.
2 ears, one mouth.
Yes. So I that was like, I'm going to ask this and see what she says, because I'm going to know if she's a bullshitter or if she's a truther.
This is a couple months ago. I got a cover video on cowboys and Indians, and it was kind of my first real taste of like, I guess you'd say like lashback of like of having a video do really well in views and having people comment on it like they don't know I can see the comments. And so there was a, and that's a, you know, Cowboys and Indians is very much a traditional country magazine. Like I understand the stapleness of it. But a lot of the times I really kind of, like I kind of forget about my nose ring sometimes. I kind of forget about my tattoos. Like they're just kind of, it is what it is. And
Yeah.
so there was a handful of comments on there from older folk that were like, oh, like, you know, something around along the lines of like, oh, such a beautiful girl. Like, why would she do that to herself? You know? And my family, like I grew up, my whole family's tattooed. Like my dad, my mom, my sister, my brother, my aunts and uncles, like we all have it was my norm growing up.
Yeah.
So, and it was just, I like called my dad after I handled the comments and I was like, ooh, I know, I see what's going on here. Like I feel that when you hear people, you know, like on Ellen, they're like, oh my God, don't read your comments. Don't read your comments.
Yeah.
And so I was reading them, but just like, okay, I get it. You know, this is part of the job. It comes with it. You've got to have a dose of reality every once in a while that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And that's okay. That's all right.
It is. And I think it's like good for us as human beings to know that our shit does smell. So don't be too high and mighty, or don't forget that there's other people. And for me, because I like my big thing, my quote, what people know me as is like, I lead with love. Like really, like as hard as it is for me, I really try. So if you like hurt me or you're aggressive to me, I am human. So I might like spew to someone close to me, like, can you, but then I'm going to react with love to that person and really, really work on meaning it, because I don't want that yucky energy, right? I want that love energy popping back at me. Amen. But there's people like, they're like, she is so annoying. I couldn't stand to listen to her. I'm like, I always respond very kindly. It's okay. I'm not for everybody. Probably keep watching my show then. You know, like it's okay. I thank you for your opinion. I'm going to keep that in mind. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, oh, that hurt my feelings a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, we are human. Those comments, I mean, I brought it up today. Like they didn't leave me. Like, I hear them still. But I agree with you on the fact of if you're trying to put out love, you just gotta really, really, really believe in the fact that love is what you'll get back.
Yes.
And a lot of those people commenting, you know, like if you go and dig in on them, you're like, you have nothing to be talking about.
Right.
Don't be coming at me sideways.
Right. Maybe you can answer this. I'm always like, it even happened through like an email thread of like another business project, whatever. I'm like, what is it inside someone? I really want to know this. I think I'm going to like do some like investigation and some reading and like theory stuff about why would people say something where it's not going to cause any good. Like if you forward think what you say to like to a group,
especially
or
in an email,
like what are you trying to achieve from it? Right. Yeah. And then people always like, well, I'm trying to, you know, I was doing it out of the kindness of my heart to let you know. And I'm like, well, then you would go to the people that are going to take care of it, not try to create chaos and madness. Right.
Yeah.
I always wonder, what is it in the personality trait? What is it in the thinking that makes someone like write something just like to write it where there's no good that's going to come of it? Like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Like, I'm kind of nerdy about this stuff.
As far as someone's reaction,
like, why would someone write something? Like, what is the outcome that you're trying to achieve? Are you trying to be helpful? But you're writing it in a negative way. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of times, as far as people who are negative, there's a lot of, you know, it's that classic saying of like, hurt people.
Right.
You know, so whether it was a learned trait or like something, you know, if you want to get like the therapy thing, like something about their inner child, like they haven't healed from something, you know, doing damage just to do damage is toxic, and it's something that only that person can take care of. So I don't have an answer as far as what's wrong with them, other than the fact that there's something going on that they need to address, and they haven't looked in the mirror yet.
Yeah, and maybe it's not even like wrong with them. It's just like, what is driving that? So probably as we're talking this through, basically, they might not even know what's driving it.
Oh yeah, they may have no idea that they're being hurtful.
And so you just
they may think it's Monday morning, right? And they're just spewing, you know.
So it goes back to like how I try to live. Just lead with love, give them back love, because there's obviously pain. Probably like the times when I'm a bitch to somebody and I'm like, ooh, I didn't mean to do that. Like, right? Like,
sometimes it just, darn
it.
I don't want to retract my statement, but I kind of want to retract my statement.
Yeah.
So I meant it, but I didn't mean it.
Yeah, because we always mean it. If you say it, there's something inside us that's meaning it. We just needed to resolve it within ourselves before we actually spoke it out. I'm like, don't tell me you didn't mean it. You always speak truth in anger. Always.
Yeah.
You just have to hold back your dealings with your path around, right, the issue.
Yeah.
Like, I'll know the truth in an argument. But before we wrap up, because that went super, super fast, like, what do you have up and coming? What's new? Like, where can people find you? What are you doing now?
So I actually just released my newest single. It's called Home, and it's a nostalgic tune about, long story short, to wrap it for you, my parents a few years ago, before my mom got sick, sold our family home. And it broke my heart. I was just devastated about it because I had visions of them living there forever and me bringing my kids there and whatever. So, and then the house sold so fast that I never got to go back home and like kind of like make my peace with it. So the next time I was home, I drove there and just wanted to like, you know, see it and check it out. And when I got there, there were two kids playing in the front yard, and like their mom was standing there, their dog was there, and they were just having the time of their life. So it really, it went from a like, oh, boohoo, poor me, to this like, I just became so grateful for the house. And I was like, oh, you know, like full circle, like it's doing it again. It's going to raise another great family. Like these kids are going to be endeared to this house the way I am. And so it was a really full thing. And I, when I got back to my house and like could find a piece of paper, I wrote this song down in like 15 minutes. And it's just a heartfelt, heart-wrenching, nostalgic tune. And so we released it on the 31st, officially the 1st. And I released a lyric video with it. So you can get on at I Am Fister is my handle for everything. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at I Am Fister, my last name. You can see the lyric video. The song is called Home. I'll say it again. Is on anything you listen to music, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, YouTube. I've got a music video coming out for it within the month or so. Just all good stuff. So just releasing music left and right, damn it.
Yeah, fun, exciting February. That's what I'm thinking. Fun and exciting February. Oh, well, Tera Lynne, thank you for coming on, sharing a little bit of your heart and soul and who you are and what makes you tick and so driven. I really believe we can all learn from each other, you know, like we're not all different, but there's definitely certain things within each of us that make us, some people take that extra step and some not. So by hearing and learning about people, we can grow and evolve.
Yes, bigger collective.
Yes. But before I do let you go, is my last question, and I ask that you answer it with the first thing that pops into your mind. Don't overthink it. You don't even need to explain it. But in this moment right now, what does love mean to you?
Love is the very first word about it thing. Love would be my boyfriend accepting me and all my faults.
That's the first thing. Then that is what it means right now in this moment. I love it. Oh, well, you are a beautiful
soul. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. You're back together. Your head's on tight. You've got dreams, ambitions. You attracted the same type. So fully, and I am the relationship expert, so I fully believe that. But
thank you. Thanks. I'll take it.
All right. Well, to everybody else out there that is watching, remember, as always, love hard, love pure, and love proactive. Until next time, take care.